Hey bro, thank you for your video. You were saying that you were experiencing some feelings of pain and weakness in your shoulder as you press the kettlebell into the overhead position. Taking a look at the reps that you showed me, I do have a couple of notes. This might be a little bit of a longer video as an explanation, so I just wanted to break it down right from the top. I want to first start with the goals of the movement itself, like why we do the press, what muscle groups you're going to be feeling and working. I want to troubleshoot some of the techniques that I'm seeing happen in your reps. They should be some pretty simple fixes, luckily. And then I want to give you a couple of alternative movements as well so that you can train around it if the pain continues, if it doesn't change, or if you just feel like freshening things up a little bit. Okay? Cool. So the press that we're working on right now is a single arm kettlebell press. By the way, your cleans in the video look super good. It's a very smooth transition up to this rack position. Very, very nice. I know I've worked on it in the past and it's definitely improved a lot. So the point of the press here is we're going to move a weight from rack position, or I guess from the floor to the rack position, from rack to overhead, as safely and as efficiently as possible. It's often, like a push-up, is sold as an upper body exercise, when in reality, it's a full body movement pattern, right? So it's not like a single muscle group training regimen. It is a way that the body moves and expresses itself under load through space and time. To get a little bit Doctor Who with the exercise descriptions of things. So what we're seeing happen with you, I think, is we're seeing a lack of engagement in the lats and maybe a little bit of an off angle with your press, okay? So one of the things I want to talk about is this concept of committing to the J. So when we get into the rack position, we're going to draw a letter J, whoop, like this, with your hand with the kettlebell in it, all right? So it's not going to be huge. We're going pew, pew, from here, overhead, back down from the side, over here. I'm inhaling, I'm bracing the abs, bracing the lats, and I'm bracing my quad as well. So it's a very subtle sort of like whoop out here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that the weight, the kettlebell, is directly over the strongest joint in the system, which is going to be my shoulder joint here, as much as possible, ideally for the entire movement. Kind of like it is in the Turkish get-up, which is one of the alternative movements I'll be giving you in a second here. You want to make sure that the cannonball, if there's a laser pointer in it, is pointing directly down at this guy the entire time. And I think that's pretty much going to be the biggest thing that we fix in your reps. Because what I was seeing was you were getting not quite here, which is good, because I think we've had some narrow press in the past, which had similar issues. And you're not quite coming out here wide either, which is like a really exaggerated J, which we see sometimes in different pressing modalities. We're not doing it that way. And I think you're kind of coming out here, right? Which if we're doing the J in a little bit more of like a subtle movement like that is okay, but you're coming out way out there, which means that the bell is certainly not where we want it to be over this shoulder. We want it to be what? Right, so this is kind of like the same, like even here right now, it's a little bit closer to where I want it to be my shoulder in this kind of pause position. But what I'm really feeling right now is this lat fucking screaming at me. Sorry for cursing. It's really screaming at me. And that's the other big thing that I want to talk to you about is getting those lats engaged. We've talked about this in the past with the swings, with the cleans, with presses, push-ups, everything. The lat is the magic muscle group, so we're just going to think about activating those bad boys. A lot of times what happens is we get in the rack position and we get a little bit like straight up and down narrow press. I might have mentioned before, making sure that our forearms are as vertical as possible for the entirety of the movement. And what can happen there sometimes is if we're pressing, boom, boom, you might see that my shoulders are like collapsed in like this. That's not good. That leads to more shoulder impingement, more pain. What we want you to do is to broaden out, spread those wings like Bruce Lee in Game of Death. That's probably not Game of Death. Ooh, we're like, oh, that goes like full flying score on those lats, just exploding outwards. That's what you're gonna do in the rack position. So we got here, rack position, expand, and then press commit to the J. And as I'm coming back down here, I'm not just letting it come back in. I'm using my lat to pull it back into place. So I'm not here so much as my tricep, my mighty tricep is resting against my mighty lat out here like this. Boom, and there's that nice vertical forearm again. Cool? So let's see that again, boom. So right now what we're seeing with the pain is something more like, like that, okay? I'm getting some lat here, right? I'm getting some shoulder, but what we want is more of like a, you can see the smooth J coming in there. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I'm hoping that makes sense so far. We're also going to want to, in addition to activating this guy, brace here and brace here. So these guys are squeezed. These guys are squozen as well. This guy is expanded. Boom. That's going to create this super strong, rigid structure. I know you're saying that you feel like with this weight you can like power up through it, do like the push press. That's okay some of the time. It's not always going to be the type of movement that we're going for. And in those periods, when we're doing that more strict military style press, then we're going to do the squeeze, the brace, and the expansion, extra broad shoulder style. And that's going to be what we're looking for. Yeah, stay tall, lock your quads, commit to the J and get wide, get those lats active. Cool. Does that make sense? I hope so, because this is a video and I can't hear you if you're responding. Alternatives. Turkish get up. I already talked about that. I have a whole nother video on it. If you want to review it, let me know and I'll make you a special review video. Yeah, basically like I said before, the position, the overhead position of that bell in the Turkish get up is always going to be over that strongest joint, just like we want it to be for the overhead press. The same principles apply, just at different timing and different spaces. Additionally, the bottoms up press, if you have a much lighter kettlebell, this is a really good option for you as well. I'll try and attempt it. I'm going to angle down because I can't do a bottoms up press in my basement from standing. Yeah, bottoms up press is you just hold the kettlebell with its bottom up and you press basically kind of however you can, which is going to almost necessitate that smooth J and a lot of lats and a lot of grip, okay? This is just 26 pounds. This is pretty challenging. There's a lot, there's just so much stability and grip happening in this one. You're not gonna like feel the burn as much in the shoulders because everything else has to be working as well, but you do need very strong shoulders to make the bottoms up press work very consistently. So that's for that reason, I like it a lot as a alternative to the traditional push press or military press. And the last alternative I want to give you is a club mill or a shield cast. I will demonstrate it with a short club that I have. I know that you have at least a 10-pound mace, which we can just choke up on, or I think I've seen you just swing it around one-handed, but I'll give you the movement anyways. As a way to train shoulders and lats specifically, okay? So we've worked before with like 360s here, boom, 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 even one-handed 360s, okay? All very good movements. The club mill, however, let's see, I might need a different angle for this. Club mill is gonna be more side to side. Get those feet out here. All right, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna throw it like I'm hucking a boomerang out here, come here, receive it, yeah. Okay, so that movement is a lot of, it's casting out. My wrist is out here. I'm rotating it down as it swings, as it mills, windmills inside. Okay, my feet aren't moving from the hips up. I'm torsoed out here. As it comes in, I'm going to move with it. My hips also might move, do a little bit of a swivel there, a little spicy hip action. Get that as I come across, my torso to follow the bell around. You continue that momentum to stow it in my backpack, whip around, and then hit R2 to re-equip that weapon. whoosh, boom, 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 boom. So that's a very fun movement once you really get the masterful, or once you really, I'm not even a master, but once you really get the feel for it. It's very grip heavy, lots of lats, lots of shoulders, and guess what? For a guy who swings hammers and swords as much as you do, this is going to be a really excellent action. I'm like throwing ninja stars at you right now. It's going to be a really excellent action for training those sorts of movements. Yeah, repeatedly. So yeah, try that one out. That might be one that we lean into a lot more moving into spring and summer here. It just gets a really fun move, and if we can get your hands on a club, I've been looking around for some good prices on them lately. That'd be a fun thing to train together a few times. So long video, like I said, about 11 minutes right now. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to give you some more clarification. So if you want to go over any of the other alternatives that I gave you or get some different ones, let's do that. Okay? I'll see you later, dude. Thanks for listening and keep questing. Bye.